Hi, this is Monica with Run, Eat, Repeat, and I just ran the Wine and Dine Half Marathon. Want to share a quick recap and review, my thoughts, notes, tips, tricks, whatever, all of the above. To put it in context, in case we're just meeting for the first time, I've run over 60 half marathons, 30 full marathons. I feel like I am an experienced runner, and I've run a lot of Run Disney races, but I'm currently in Southern California, fairly close actually to Disneyland, Anaheim. I've done a lot of the Disneyland races in the past when they had them, but they haven't had a Run Disney event in California for a couple of years now, and I haven't run a Run Disney event in Orlando for a couple of years. So I felt a little out of practice in the Run Disney world. It is like riding a bike, putting on a costume and going for a run. Came right back to me. I figured out how to do it. But just for reference, I feel like I've run a lot of races, but I haven't run the most recent Run Disney events. And let's just get into the race recap right off the bat, because I feel like a lot of the thoughts and reviews and recaps that I have heard are in reference to pre-pandemic Run Disney and kind of comparing it. I'm not necessarily coming from there, but I have a lot of race experience. And also, if we're just meeting, make sure you like and subscribe so we can continue to hang out. Okay, before the race. One of the top 3 worst nights of sleep before a race, and I have no expectation of getting great sleep before a race. I understand. I'm not gonna sleep that great. I'm always afraid I'm going to sleep through my alarm. I make sure that I'm super hydrated, so I'm getting up to pee, I'm checking the time, but I woke up every hour and all night, just and like that abrupt wake up where you're kind of stressed. I actually decided to do this race kind of last minute, just really a few weeks before. I was already training for several other races, so when I realized it wasn't sold out, decided to go for it. Unfortunately, at that point, anything that was affordable on property was booked, and everything else was just way too expensive, way too fancy. So I stayed off property. We rented a car. I was dropped off at the start line. The race started at the transportation center and it ended at Epcot. It's a point-to-point course, which means it starts in one location, ends at another. So all the runners either had to park at the finish and get shuttled to the start, or get dropped off either by car or by bus, if depending on where you were staying. And it didn't seem very crowded. It didn't seem like some races that I went to, the drop-off area, the shuttles, everything is so packed because there are just so many people. It didn't feel like that at all. One of the random perks about doing a Run Disney race is oftentimes there are tons of public restrooms available. So where I got dropped off, there was a restroom right there. I used that restroom and was able to walk to the start line. It was pretty far from where I got dropped off, but I wanted to keep moving because it was very dark and very cold. I thought about bringing throwaway gear, but it didn't seem like it was going to be that cold when I was packing. So I brought a poncho. It wasn't warm enough. I really was very cold. Kind of regretted not bringing gear to throw away, but I always think of Florida as very warm. Not very warm, very hot. And I have been wrong about that several times. There were 4 corrals at the start, but many waves within those. So I was in the first corral, but I didn't start as soon as the gun went off for the first people to kind of start running. But I was still pretty far up there. So I think I started fairly close to 5 and didn't stop at the theme parks or for any of the first character stops. So I feel like most of the race I was running in the dark. I planned to stop and take pictures or video when we got to the first theme park, which was Animal Kingdom, but it was still so dark at that point. It was beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. The way that they lit it, the area that we were running through was really, really pretty. But I knew the video wasn't going to come out well because it still was so dark and I was really cold. So I didn't even want to mess with getting my phone out of my belt. That's kind of the thing, or really the only thing I'm bummed about this race, and seeing other people's pictures and video where it is more light out. I think that's super fun and awesome. And that's definitely a perk of just kind of hanging back and enjoying the race, especially if you're in costume and you are at Disney World and just there to enjoy it. Once the sun was up and I realized I only had a couple more miles left of the race, I suddenly felt as if it had went by too fast, and I really wanted to just like enjoy it and take it all in. I really tried to wave to the spectators that were cheering and enjoy the sights, running through the boardwalk, running through Epcot, these super awesome and unique experiences that you don't get at a lot of races. So I tried to enjoy it. I was also still cold, even though I was 10, 11 miles into this half marathon and just wanted to run it in. I thought about grabbing my phone out of my belt at this point to take some video, but I knew from grabbing my fuel that my fingers were not cooperating very well, and it was probably going to be hard for me to actually use my phone for video at that point or to take a steady picture. So I just kept running, tried to enjoy it, tried to wave to the crowd. One of the awesome things about dressing up is that people will cheer for you as the character because they can recognize it. So people were saying, "Go Snow White," and I would like wave to them. And the spectators are awesome. The other runners are awesome. We ran through Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and then at the end, ran through Epcot a lot. And Epcot kind of goes with the theme of this wine and dine race. After the race, there is a party that night at Epcot where if you sign up for the half marathon or the challenge, you get a ticket to go to the after party at Epcot that night. And Epcot is kind of known for its international marketplace. You can walk around and enjoy the foods from all of these different countries around the world, which is super awesome. In the last mile, I just wanted to get done and get warm more than anything. So I ran it in, got my metallic blanket and got my medal, took a couple of pictures, and then just called my ride to come pick me up. I went the wrong direction at first, but I asked someone, like a cast member. And another thing that was really awesome is over the course of the weekend at the expo, at the race in the morning, after the race especially, I had to ask, I think 2 or 3 different cast members kind of for direction, where to get where I was going. Everyone knew what they were talking about. Everyone knew exactly. And sometimes if you've ever been in a situation where there's like tons of people working a sporting event or something, and they kind of direct you to someone else that would know, everyone I asked a question to knew the answer to the question that I was asking. And that's a big deal when you run 13.1 miles, you're freezing, and you just want to get to a warm car. So that's a huge deal to me. Like, heart that 1,000%. Overall, love Run Disney races, love a costume race, love the community, highly recommend if you are a newer runner, if you are not a super confident runner, if you mostly run because you want to have fun, if you just are a fan of Disney, if you like running and eating, highly recommend the Wine and Dine race. The only kind of not positive notes that I would say are that it's a very pricey race. If you are not local to the area and you're talking about the cost of registration plus the cost of staying, and if you're going to go all that way, potentially wanting to visit a theme park, then it really adds up very quickly. But I'm a huge fan of these races and I had a good time. Let me know if you have any questions. Here's the little medal again. It's not little actually. And I have a massive hand, massive. I can palm a basketball. So this would probably look like a pie plate in your hand. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe so that you can keep up with me for the next video.